Good morning, grade 8 students. In this session, we're going to review our digestion part 4 about the enzymes for grade 8. So here we started about the digestive system. We said it's divided into digestive tube and digestive glands. We said that the digestive tube, organs through which the food pass through, wherever the digestive gland, they are organs through which food doesn't pass through. Then we talk about the function of the digestive tube and the function of the digestive glands. But the organs of the digestive tube, they include the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and finally we have the anus where the excess food is going to be excreted in the form of stool, where we have digestive glands, we have the salivary gland, we have the gastric gland, we have the pancreas, the liver, and also the intestinal glands. So here, digestive glands, what do they do? Digestive glands, they secrete digestive juices that they secreted into their site of action. Let's have this table. This table is very important to know it before we move to the big table. So, digestive glands, we have salivary glands. They secrete saliva. Saliva that's found in the mouth. والريق اللي نحن بنبلع الريق هيدا. This is called the saliva. Inside the saliva, we have special enzymes. We're going to talk about them. And the site of action inside the mouth, where the medium is neutral. So the pH is equal to 7. While the gastric gland, they secrete gastric juice in the stomach, where the medium is acidic. The pH is less than 7. Pancreas secrete pancreatic juice. The site of action, the organ, it's inside the small intestine. The medium is basic, pH greater than 7. Liver, its secreted juice is called bile, and we have something special about bile. We talked about this the last session. And also at the level of the small intestine, the medium is basic. Intestinal glands, they secrete intestinal juice, and also the level of the small intestine, and the medium is basic. So here, let's remember together what is the neutral, what is the acidic, and what is the basic. Neutral, we said it's approximately the pH, approximately it's 7. So pH approximately 7. What do I mean of approximately 7? It's not always exactly 7. So it's 7 always whenever we have the water, for example. So pH is equal to 7 in the case of the water. So approximately it's 7. While in the case of acidic, the pH is equal to less than 7 when the pH is acidic, and basic, the pH it's greater than 7. So we have three different chemical mediums. We have in neutral, pH approximately equal to 7, acidic, pH less than 7, basic, it's greater than 7. So as I said, we have this pH whenever we have approximately 7, between 6.5 and 7.5, it's considered as a neutral. So here, as we move away from the neutral, as we move away from the 7, up, for example, you move here. So as we move greater than 7, the more we move, the far we move away from 7, this means that it's the strong base here. So here, household bleach, Dettol, Flash, for example, Prel, all that's used in the house to clean, they are bases, so they are strong base. However, acid, as we move away from the 7, away from the neutral, is going to be the strong base. So the strong acid, sorry. So the strong acid has the pH 1, 2, 3, while the strong base has pH 11, 12, 13, and 14. So 14 is the strongest base, and 1 is the strongest acid. So here we talk about the mediums. So let's move now to talk about digestion. We said digestion is mechanical and chemical. Mechanical, cutting down the food into smaller pieces using the teeth, chewing, churning, and peristaltic movement. However, chemical transformation of food includes what? Includes the action of the juices that contain enzymes. We said that all the juices they contain enzymes except for the bile. And this is the special note about the bile. Bile contains no enzyme. So enzymes, they are like a scissors. مثل us, they digest, they cut They break down, they hydrolyze, they transform food into simple nutrients. These enzymes, they are as catalysts. What the meaning of catalyst? It speeds up the reaction, it accelerates it, it makes it faster, it makes the process of digestion faster. But this enzyme, the amount of this enzyme will remain the same at the end of digestion. So this table is a very important table. All of you, you have to study the notes in this table. Already we covered this before. So in this table, we have the organ, we have the name of the digestive gland, and the juice that is secreted, the enzyme, the substrate, on which substance will the enzyme work, and also we have the product, the end product of digestion, and we have the chemical medium, whether acidic, basic, or it's in neutral one. Always the temperature is equal to 37 degrees Celsius. Since it's the normal temperature and all the enzymes, they work on 37. It's the optimum temperature. Optimum temperature, or it's the best. So you have to know this word optimum. Optimum, so it's the best temperature. So here let's start first with the mouth. The mouth, we have a special gland. What do we call it? Salivary gland. This salivary gland, it secretes a special juice. It's called saliva. In this saliva, we have a special enzyme called salivary amylase. As we said before, every word that ends with the word ase is an enzyme. So salivary amylase is an enzyme that works on starch. It works on starch to give what? To give maltose. It's a type of sugar. Maltose, if you remember, it's glucose and the glucose. The medium is a neutral and the temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. So here you have to know that inside the mouth you have a gland called salivary gland. It secretes juice, it's called saliva. This juice contains an enzyme, it's called salivary amylase. Salivary amylase because it's found inside the saliva. Since when we move now to the pancreas, we have other amylase, but not salivary amylase. So this salivary amylase is found in the saliva. It works on what? It works on starch. To give what? To give maltose. The medium is neutral and the temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Always the temperature is 37. This is the saliva that we talk about. Let's move now to the stomach. The stomach, we have a special type of gland called the gastric gland. So gastric gland also secretes juice. It's called gastric juice. Like salivary gland secretes saliva. Similar names. Salivary, saliva. Gastric, gastric juice. So this juice contains special enzymes called the pepsin. Pepsin, it works on a protein, which is the complex form of protein, to give peptide, which is the intermediate. Medium is acidic, so the pH it's less than 7, and temperature is 37. How can we study pepsin, protein, peptide? Pepsin, let's start with the letter P. Works on protein, start with the letter P. To give peptide, let's start with the letter P. So we have three P's. Pepsin, protein, peptide. So P. Pepsin works on protein to give peptide, and the medium is acidic. Always the temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Before we move to the small intestine, you have to know that the mouth and the stomach, they are only different from the basic. Where the mouth is in neutral, so the pH is approximately 7, and you have to know that acidic in the stomach pH is less than 7, while the rest of the enzymes, they are basic. Pancreas. At the level of the small intestine, we have the pancreas. The pancreas secretes juice, like the name of the pancreas. It's called pancreatic juice. So this pancreatic juice, it contains an enzyme. It's called peptidase. It ends with the word ase. So peptidase, from its name, peptidase, it works on peptides. So peptidase, it works on peptides to give amino acid, which is the simplest form of the protein, the amino acid. The medium is basic. What does this mean? This means that the pH it's greater than 7, and the temperature always is 37 degrees Celsius. So here, pancreas, I'll repeat, it secretes a juice. It's called pancreatic juice that contains an enzyme. It's called peptidase, and substrate. It's peptide. So peptidates. It works on peptides to give amino acid. Temperature 37, and the medium is basic, greater than 7. Now let's move to another juice and to another enzyme. Here also we are going to continue with the pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice, which organ? It's secreted by which gland? By the pancreas. In which organ? In the level of the small intestine. So here the enzyme is called trypsin. So trypsin, it works on what? It works on protein, the complex form, to give amino acid, which is the simplest form. So protein to give amino acid, the medium is basic, and the temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. So pH here it's greater than 7. So here always trypsin, it works on protein to give amino acid. Medium is basic, temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Fourth, the pancreas also. Pancreas also secretes the same juice. So this juice, pancreatic juice, till now contains three enzymes. So first one, it was the peptidase. The second one is was the trypsin. Now it's the amylase. Wait a minute. Amylase. Similar to which one? It's similar to this one. It's a salivary amylase, but it's not salivary. It's an amylase only. So also it works on starch, and also it gives maltose. But here the medium is basic, while here the medium is neutral. So this is a salivary amylase, and here it's amylase only. Here it's neutral, while here it's basic. So both of them they work on the same substrate. Both of them they give the same product, which is maltose, which is sugar, but salivary amylase works at the level of the mouth. So the medium is neutral, while the amylase it works at the level of the small intestine, and the medium is basic. Temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Now let's continue with pancreas. So pancreas also secretes a juice called pancreatic juice. So these they are easy to study than pancreas secrete pancreatic juice. Salivary glands secrete saliva. Gastric glands secrete gastric juice. So here also pancreas secretes a pancreatic juice. This pancreatic juice it contains what? Contains an enzyme called lipase. Lipase or lipase, both of them ends with the word ase. So lipase works on lipids as its name indicates. So it works on lipids to give what? To give fatty acids and glycerol. So digest lipids to give fatty acid and glycerol. What is the fatty acid and glycerol? This is the simplest form of lipids, while the complex form is also called the lipids or the fats. Here, you have to know that lipids, they don't have intermediate form. They only have complex, which is the lipids or the fats, and then we have the simple form. They are fatty acids and the glycerol. So they work here in a basic medium where the pH it's greater than 7 and temperature it's 37 degrees Celsius. Now let's move to the liver. So here note that the the pancreas has four different enzymes: peptidase, trypsin, and amylase. Now let's continue with the liver. Liver it secretes a bile that contains no enzymes, but it works on lipids. What does it do for the lipids? It do emulsification of the lipids, so segregation of the lipids. So the lipids are going to be segregated and separated into emulsified, and medium is basic, temperature is 37. So emulsification of lipids, what will happen here? So emulsification meaning that segregation and separation of large molecules into simplest one. This is what is known by the segregation or the separation of the lipids. So here the lipids, they are separated and segregated using the bile. So here fats, where the lipids, they cannot be separated or digested directly by the lipase. So they need a one that intermediate between these. بدهم وسيط، بدهم حدا يتدخل يساعدهم to digest the lipids into smaller pieces. So what is this? This is the bile. So the bile will cut the lipids into smaller parts as shown here. So these will be digested by lipase. Lipase can digest the large one. So this is called the emulsification. This is the process that's known by emulsification. So here emulsification meaning that segregation or the separation of the large molecules. For example, if you have, for example, 100 piece, 100, for example, tomatoes. So you can cut them, all of them together. No, you have to separate. You can cut every 10 or every 2 or every 3 together. So here, segregation is called the emulsification of the lipids, and then lipase will digest them into the simplest form, which is the fatty acids and glycerol. Now let's move to the worksheet to start solving this worksheet. They said indicate the true statement or statements and correct the false one or ones. Always and always, whenever we have this question, indicate the true statement or statement and correct the false one or ones. If it's true, you have to write the word true and not T. And if it's false, you have to write false and you have to correct it in a complete answer. So you can't cross a word and you write the word instead. So this is not accepted in grade 8 anymore. So let's start with the first one. Yes, Serene, good morning. Yes, Serene Ftuni. Can you hear me, Serene? So Hadi Fadlallah, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, the
For
first
the
one, yeah, Hadi. The complex form,
false,
lipids, they said
false. The
the fatty
simplest
acid.
form of the
Wait a
lipids.
minute, yeah, Hadi. Wait a minute. Let's read it first and then you can answer. Wait a minute. So the complex form of the lipids is the fatty acids and the glycerol. So they want us to say that what is the complex form of lipids? They said it's the fatty acids and the glycerol. What do you think?
False. The
False.
simplest form of the lipids is the fatty acids and glycerol.
Okay, so Hadi, if I ask you in another way, don't want to cross the lipids. I want to cross the word fatty acid and glycerol. How can I do so? If
ما فهمت
I
كيف
want to
قصدك.
cross lipids, the complex form of lipids is the fatty acid and glycerol. You said that the simplest form of lipids is the fatty acid and glycerol, right?
Yes.
If I want you to cross the fatty acid and glycerol, what do you put instead? What is the complex form of lipids? This is the question. What is the complex form of lipids? What do we call it? The complex form of lipids.
And theta.
Theta. The complex form of lipids is what? Is the fats or the lipids. Okay? So this is the complex
Okay.
form. Thank you, Hadi. Moving for the second one. Second one, we said that the translucent spot test is done to identify the presence of lipids. So the translucent spot test is done to identify the presence of lipids. Yes, let's see who will answer this. So the translucent spot test is done to identify the presence of lipids. Yes, I need new voices. I need Sabine. Sabine, good morning. Sabine, good morning. Please, anyone, don't mute yourself unless you raise your hand. Sabine, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Sabine, Sabine Swaydan.
Yes, yes.
Okay, let's move to Hadid right now. Hadid, good morning, Hadid.
Hi, Stas.
So, second one, they said that the translucent spot test is done to identify the presence of lipids. What do you think?
True.
True. If I ask you, Hadil, can you give me another test that is done to identify the presence of lipids?
Um,
What do we call the another test that used to identify the presence of lipids?
this is the wire test.
Bayer test. Bayer test is done to identify the presence of proteins and or polypeptides. It's not the Bayer test. Who can give me what is the name of the test that is done to identify the presence of lipids other than the translucent spot test? Who can give me this? Yes? Who can give me this test? It is done to identify the
Yes,
presence
test.
of lipids. Yes?
Ustaz, can I?
Yes, Karim.
Sudden test.
Southern test. Can you give me the positive result of the Southern test?
Pink color appears.
And the negative result?
No pink color appears. It
Very good.
disappears.
So very good. So if you have a pink color with the Southern test, thank you, Karim, and thank you, Hadil. So moving for part 3. The enzyme pepsin, it works in a neutral medium. I need now Gabriel Hussaini. Gabriel, the enzyme pepsin, it works in a neutral medium. What do you think?
False.
False. What's the correction?
The enzyme pepsin
Yeah.
works in an acidic medium.
Very good. The enzyme pepsin works in an acidic medium. On which substrate does the enzyme pepsin work? On which substance? Pepsin, P. Protein to give.
Peptide.
Very good. The 3 P's. Don't forget this. 3 P. Protein, pepsin, and peptide. So pepsin works on a protein to give peptide. Thank you, Gabriel. So I still have another question about 3. So I need for this Ismail Qurani. Ismail, good morning.
Morning, Ustaz.
So part 3, Gabriel said that Gabriel said that this one in 3, the enzyme pepsin works in a neutral medium. So Gabriel said it's false. It said that the enzyme pepsin works in an acidic medium. So I want to cross the word pepsin. Can you correct it whenever crossing the word pepsin?
It works in a what?
And there's Gabriel said the enzyme pepsin works in a neutral medium. So what does Gabriel do? Gabriel removed the word pepsin, remove the word in neutral and put acidic. So here I want you to do what? I want you to remove the word pepsin. Which enzyme works in a neutral medium? Let's see if you studied the table.
Neutral medium.
pH equals 7. Which enzyme?
Yes.
Yes, which enzyme?
Uh,
At the level of the mouth.
gastric.
At the level of the mouth.
Ustaz
Yes.
صوتك عم بيقطش.
Which enzyme works in a neutral medium? This is my question.
Salivary.
Salivary? Salivary enzyme?
Salivary gland.
Yes.
Salivary gland? It's not the enzyme. Okay, thank you, Ismail. What do you
Yes,
think,
it is.
Maya? Which enzyme?
It's the saliva.
Saliva is the enzyme. It's the juice. So which enzyme?
Oh, salivary amylase.
So the salivary amylase, Ismail, it works in the neutral medium. So the enzyme is called salivary amylase. Okay, let's move now to Ghadi. Ghadi number 4. Lipase digest lipids into monosaccharides. What do you think, Ghadi? Lipase digest lipids into monosaccharides. Yes, Ghadi, raising your hand. Can you answer?
أستاذ
Yes.
أستاذ صوتك قطش كتير. فيك ترجع بالquestion.
Part 4. Your part 4.
Yes.
Lipase digest
Yes,
lipids
Ustaz.
into monosaccharides. What do you think? Yes. Ghadi, waiting your answer. Okay, let's move to Abbas Asi. Thank you, Ghade. Lipase digest lipids into monosaccharide. Pay attention, Ghade. Lipase digest lipids into monosaccharide. What do you think, Abbas?
True.
True. This is true. Lipase digest lipids into monosaccharides. What do you think? True?
Yes.
Okay, true. Very good. So here it's false for sure. Let's see Adam. Pay attention, Abbas. Lipase digest lipids into
It
monosaccharides. What
says
do you
it
think?
digests lipids into
Into
fatty acids and glycerol.
very good, very good. Digest lipids into fatty acids and glycerol, Abbas. So this is the function of the lipase. It digests lipids into fatty acids and glycerol. Ali Fadi Basma. The gastric juice of pH less than 7 is considered as basic. What do you think, Ali Fadi Basma? The gastric juice of pH less than 7 is considered as basic.
Yes.
Yes, yes, Ali. What do you think? True or false?
True.
True. Very good. What is the basic pH? pH is greater than 7 or less than 7?
pH.
pH of the basic substances. It's greater than 7 or less than 7?
Less.
Less than 7, it's acidic, ya Ali. Greater than 7, it's the basic. So this one is false. So the gastric juice of pH less than 7 is considered as acidic substance. So here is the correction. So false, the first one. The simplest form of the lipids is the fatty acids and glycerol. Transducer spot test is done to identify the presence of lipids. This is true. 3. The enzyme pepsin works in a neutral. False. The enzyme pepsin works in an acidic medium. Lipase digest lipids into monosaccharide. This is false. Lipase digest lipids into fatty acids and the glycerol. The gastric juice of pH less than 7 is considered as basic. This is false. The gastric juice of pH less than 7 is considered as acidic, while greater than 7 is basic. Now, let's move to this table. They said copy and complete the table below. So what do you have to do? You have to copy and then you have to complete the table below. Let's start first with the stomach. What is the name of the stomach? I need Ali Hassan Basma right now. Ali Hassan Basma, what is the name of the gland that's found at the level of the stomach?
Digestive gland. The
What is the name of
gastric
the
gland.
gland? Gastric gland. It secretes a juice. It's called?
Gastric juice.
It contains the enzyme Pepsi. It's like
Pepsin.
Pepsi. Pepsin.
Pepsin.
It works on a protein to give what?
Polypeptides.
Peptide. Very good. Medium at the level of the stomach. It's acidic, basic, or neutral? Pepsi.
Acidic.
Pepsi. So it's acidic, meaning that pH greater than 7 or less than 7?
Less than 7.
Less than 7. Very good. And temperature, it's always 37
37 degrees Celsius.
Very good. Thank you, Ali. Let's move now to new students. I need here, I need Leia Bustani. Good morning. Good morning, Leia. Leia, good morning. Okay, I think Leia had a problem with the connection. Let's move to other. Let's give a try another one for Serene Ftuni. Maybe the connection is working now. Serene Ftuni, can you hear me? I think no. So let's see who's here. I want new students. I want a new voices. I want an wala voice, but